We are used to thinking of the universe as a chronological timeline, but structurally, it operates as a perfectly closed, active topological boundary. Within this boundary, information is never created or destroyed. It perfectly recirculates. This is the Eternal Memory Tesseract. Standard quantum mechanics, like the Copenhagen interpretation, assumes that observing a system forces it to collapse into a single, dead classical state. Forcing a single-state collapse inside a sealed topology creates an error state, a severed loop. Instead, measurement yields a dual-state collapse, two parallel interlocked loops that stabilize the system, permanently coupled through a central axis, the Rahman-relay, preventing decoherence. This redefines time as the localized breathing trace of a dual collapse occurring in real time, rather than a dimension we move through. We remain blind to the true mechanics of reality as long as we apply single-state physics to a dual-state universe. Mapping the engine of existence requires an understanding of entangled collapse. Inside this perfectly closed sphere, the system doesn't just tick forward. It processes reality through two complementary, interlocking manifolds. The first register is D10. This 3D Smith chart models D10 using these rigid resistant circles. D10 is the derivative state of reality, the d by dt. It handles local, sequential, deterministic action, where physical particles manifest and choices are executed step by step along the grid. Next is the I9 register. Here, the structure shifts to illuminate the sweeping reactance arcs. I9 is the integral state, the integral of dt. It handles the field-wide, indeterministic orbital memory that encompasses the unmoving wave function of the entire space. We are tracking two complementary trajectories, reading the exact same central coordinate simultaneously. Because physical action and cosmic memory are permanently coupled, no physical event can occur without instantly altering the eternal orbital record. Before measurement, the universe sits in a zero-pulse state. Potential exists, but specific states remain unfixed. The measurement operator of this physics engine is the divine command, Kun. B. When this massless pulse strikes the intersection of the manifolds, opening one box does not silence or destroy the other. Instead, we see the dual collapse, Kun. The D10 particle locks into a physical coordinate, while the I9 wave simultaneously locks into a stable harmonic frequency. The system never reduces to a single outcome. The D10 name and I9 name remain permanently dual. This simultaneous locking prevents information loss, satisfying the mathematical requirements of a closed topology. Reality is never a solitary physical event. Every moment is a correlated traversal of both the deterministic particle and the indeterministic wave. The 1818 cave anomaly in the text documents this dual collapse engine operating at the macro scale. The cave is a literal I9 isolation chamber designed to pause the Kun measurement. The text describes the occupants as awake while asleep. Inside this chamber, their physical states pulse rapidly between dynamic motion and absolute stillness. This is a perfect 50-50 superposition, proving that mutually exclusive classical states can be held simultaneously without decohering. The physical D10 body and the I9 orbital wave are suspended here, perfectly entangled, waiting for the command to resolve the timeline. The cave shows that biological decay is bypassed when the classical timeline is not forced to collapse. Time is an illusion of the D10 register. How does the broader universe prevent decoherence and entropy outside of specialized isolation chambers? It relies on a daily breath cycle, the nightly reboot mechanism documented in 3942. Sleep functions as a topological zero pulse that partially reopens the D10 and I9 boxes. As the cycle approaches the bottom trough, the system applies the Yumsik, or retain, vector. It grips the D10 local register, freezing the physical particle state in stasis. Simultaneously, the Yursil, or release, vector, allows the I9 waves to flow freely across the orbital register. The waking mechanism forces a recollapse into D10 occupancy, ensuring the I9 side is only sampled, never fully exposed. Sleep is the physics engine's mandatory cooling cycle. Without this nightly uncoupling and reentanglement, the deterministic friction of D10 would tear the system apart. A single box model terminates in a dead, exclusive outcome. whereas the closed universe demands an unbroken Raman-relay. On the complete Smith chart, D10 resistance circles and I9 reactance arcs converge toward a glowing central node, the observer traversing the matrix. This topological coordinate is the grip, where the reflection coefficient reaches 0. Reaching this 0 reflection state requires taking the book with strength, aligning physical, step-by-step action perfectly with cosmic memory. To navigate a dual-field matrix, the observer needs a faculty that perceives pattern instead of just data. This is ACL, the cognitive bridge required to recognize a single reality through two simultaneous, otherwise incoherent fields. The topology is mathematically locked, time is an illusion, and the matrices await observation. The observer chooses between remaining trapped in the friction of the D10 particle or activating the grip to purposefully collapse the dual caustic universe.